It was supposed to be the launch day. Years of sacrifice, millions in investor money, and now just smoke, flames, and silence. His name? Elijah Grant. Just 3 years earlier, he couldn't even afford a bus pass. Today, he's staring at what could be the end of his billion-dollar dream. I built this from nothing. If this burns, I burn with it. But before the fire, there was a spark. And to understand that spark, you have to go all the way back to a kid with a broken calculator and a heart full of ideas. Elijah Grant was born into a city that knew how to fall and how to survive. Raised by a single mother who worked 2 jobs, Elijah learned early that life didn't hand you tools, you built them. At 9, he repaired his school's overhead projector with parts from a VCR. At 13, he built a wind-powered phone charger from scraps. He didn't talk much. But when he did, it was usually about friction coefficients or battery inefficiencies. You knew he was different. But brilliance doesn't pay bills. In college? Out of reach. Elijah got into MIT, but turned it down. Couldn't afford the deposit. Took a job fixing HVAC units instead. At night, he sketched engine designs on pizza boxes. In the morning, he installed ACs in buildings he'd never afford to live in. And every week, he told himself the same thing. One day, I won't just fix machines. I'll invent them. It all started with a fan motor. A client complained his industrial fan was too loud. Elijah stayed up 3 nights redesigning it from scratch. The result? A motor that used 40% less energy and made no sound. I told him, you build 10 more, I'll order 100. I didn't know he built that one using parts from 3 junkyard machines and a blender motor. Elijah took the risk, sold his car, lived in a storage unit for 6 months, built a prototype he called the Quiet Core. He started selling to factories one by one. Quiet Core went from napkin sketch to $50,000 in orders. But success brings problems. Manufacturing required capital. Capital required trust. And trust? That was in short supply when your business address was a storage locker. Elijah finally caught a break. A co-founder, Marcus Leung, MBA from Stanford, smooth talker, great at raising money. Together, they formed Vanta Dynamics. They raised $2.5 million in 6 months. The dream was real. But dreams don't survive betrayal. Marcus had created a second company, using Vanta's IP. He diverted funds. Signed a deal with a rival firm. Elijah found out, too late. The company collapsed. Elijah's name was dragged through headlines. Investors pulled out. And in the deepest winter of Detroit, Elijah found himself sleeping in his mom's basement again. 33 years old. Broke. Betrayed. I couldn't even fix a broken radiator in my own house. I started to think maybe this dream was just a curse. But rock bottom is solid ground. And sometimes starting over is the only way up. He taught kids how to build solar panels from scrap. One parent, a former Tesla engineer, saw Elijah's designs and passed them along. 1 month later, Elijah was in Texas, pitching a new version of Quiet Core. Smaller, modular, AI-optimized for energy efficiency. This time, he didn't chase investors. He sold results. Door to door. Warehouse to warehouse. The orders came. And one of them was from Amazon. Amazon deployed Elijah's system in one fulfillment center. Within 3 months, energy costs dropped 18%. That same year, Elijah signed a $12 million contract. I didn't need to shout. The product spoke for me. He called his new company Forge One, because it was forged through fire. And it was the first of many. By 2023, Forge One was valued at $1.1 billion. Elijah owned 71% of it. No outside board. No flashy CEO. Just a team that believed in building better energy systems from the ground up. He doesn't talk about profit first. He talks about people. About fixing what's broken, literally and figuratively. Forge One Tech now powers over 2,400 warehouses globally. They've cut over 190,000 tons of carbon emissions. And Elijah? He still designs every product before it hits production. He's not a celebrity. You won't see him on Twitter. But to those who've worked in the trenches, Elijah Grant is a legend. You don't need a rich uncle or a degree from Stanford. You need pain, patience, and just enough pride to believe you're worth the fight. Elijah now funds engineering programs in underserved schools. He's launched an open-source platform for clean tech startups. And every year he selects 5 young inventors and mentors them personally. He could have walked away rich. Instead, he stayed to build more. Not because he had to, but because he knew what it felt like to be forgotten. They thought I was broke, but the truth is, I was just getting started. Because some people wait for opportunity, others engineer it.